The transport ship broke through the clouds of Station 7, and Park pressed her face against the cold window. Below her stretched the Galactic Unity Academy, a massive structure of glass and metal that floated in the darkness of space. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. And starting today, it was her new home. Was 17 years old. She had dark hair that she kept tied back in a simple ponytail, and her hands were rough from years of martial arts training. She wore the standard gray uniform of the academy, but unlike the other students on the ship, she wore it alone. She was the only human. The ship landed with a soft thump, and the doors opened. Grabbed her small bag and stepped out into the arrival hall. Immediately, she felt hundreds of eyes turned toward her. The hall was filled with aliens of every shape and size. There were the tall and graceful beings with skin that looked like crystal. There were the insect-like creatures with hard shells and clicking mandibles. There were the who looked like floating blobs of blue jelly. And there were the covered in beautiful feathers of gold and silver, walking with their heads held high like royalty. All of them stared at. She heard whispers in languages she did not understand, but her translator device picked up some of them. Is that a human? From Earth, the death planet. Why would they let one of those here? Pretended not to hear. She kept her face calm and walked toward the registration desk. An official looked down at her with cold eyes. Name, the official asked. Park Earth, exchange student. The official typed something into his device. His crystal face showed no emotion but could tell he was uncomfortable. Your dormitory assignment is in Sector 7, lowest tier. Nodded, she had expected this. Earth was classified as a Category 9. In the galactic ranking system, this meant her planet was considered one of the most dangerous places to live. High gravity, extreme weather, deadly animals, poisonous plants, diseases that could kill in days. To the aliens of the academy was not just a student. She was a monster from a monster world. She found her dormitory room after walking for 20 minutes through endless corridors. The room was small and cold, located in the oldest part of the station. When she opened the door, she found someone already inside. The creature was a blob of blue jelly about the size of a large dog. 2 eye stalks rose from its body and turned toward with obvious fear. Please do not eat me, the said quickly. Blinked, I was not planning to. Oh, the seemed to relax a little. I am sorry, I heard humans eat everything, even other intelligent species. That is not true, said. She set her bag down on the empty bed. We eat many things but not people. I see. The moved a little closer, curiosity replacing fear. I chose a human-style name because I have always been interested in Earth culture. I have watched many human films. Smiled for the first time since arriving. It is nice to meet you. Eye stalks wiggled happily. It is nice to meet you too, but I must warn you about something. Warn me. Lowered her voice. There is a group of students who control this academy. They are led by a named. His family is very powerful. They own 3 star systems. He does not like anyone from low classification worlds. And humans. Paused. He really does not like humans. I understand, said calmly. You should be careful. He has hurt other students before. The teachers do nothing because his family gives money to the academy. Unpacked her bag slowly. She had 3 sets of uniforms, a few books, and a small photograph of her family back on Earth. She placed the photograph on her bedside table. Thank you for the warning, she said I will be careful. The next morning was the welcome assembly. All new students gathered in the great hall, a massive room with a ceiling so high it disappeared into darkness. Thousands of seats were arranged in a circle around a central stage. Found a seat in the back, sat beside her still nervous. The academy chancellor, an elderly with a deep voice, gave a long speech about unity and learning and respect. Listened politely, though she noticed many students whispering and pointing in her direction. Then the Chancellor invited student representatives to welcome the new arrivals. Walked onto the stage. He was tall, even for a. His feathers were pure gold, and he wore expensive jewelry on his wings. He moved with the confidence of someone who had never been told no in his entire life. "Welcome to Galactic Unity Academy," said. His voice was smooth and cold. "Here, we learn to be the leaders of tomorrow. We learn to bring civilization to the uncivilized." His eyes found in the crowd. "Of course," he continued, "some species need more civilization than others. I have heard that we have a human student this year, from Earth, the Death Planet." Whispers spread through the hall. Everyone turned to look at. Smiled. It was not a kind smile. "I wonder if an apex predator can learn to play at civilization, or if her instincts will prove too strong." Some students laughed. Others looked uncomfortable. Touched arm. "You do not have to take this, say something." But did not move. She did not speak. She simply looked at with her calm, dark eyes, and she smiled politely. The smile seemed to confuse. He had expected anger. He had expected fear. This quiet acceptance was something he did not understand. "Well," he said after a pause, "I hope you enjoy your time here, human, however long it lasts." He walked off the stage to applause from his friends. After the assembly walked back to their dormitory. "Why did you not say anything?" she asked. "He insulted you in front of everyone." Looked out the window at the stars. "On Earth we have a saying, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down." "What does that mean?" "It means that sometimes being quiet is smarter than being loud." Paused. "But we have another saying too." "What is it?" "The tallest tree catches the most wind." Eye stalks tilted in confusion. "I do not understand." Smiled. It was a small smile, but there was something in it that made shiver. "You will," said softly. "Everyone will." That night lay in her bed and looked at the photograph of her family. Her mother, her father, her younger brother. All of them back on Earth, a world that these aliens considered hell. But Earth was not hell. Earth was home, and Earth had taught something that no alien school could ever understand. Only the patient survive. 1 month passed at Galactic Unity Academy and learned many things. She learned that the slept standing up. She learned that the communicated through clicks as well as words. She learned that the could change their shape to fit into small spaces. And she learned that was not going to leave her alone. It started with small things. One morning, sat down in the dining hall and found her food tray filled with a substance that made other students gasp in horror. It was a spice from a distant world, so hot that it could burn through metal. "That will kill her," someone whispered. Picked up her spoon and ate the entire meal. The spice burned her tongue and made her eyes water, but she finished every bite. On Earth, there were peppers far worse than this. Her grandmother had made her eat them as a child. The students watching could not believe it. Simply wiped her mouth and said, "The food here is a little bland. Could use more flavor." The next attack was more dangerous. Someone had tampered with her environmental suit, the device that all students wore to help them breathe and stay comfortable in the station's atmosphere. The suit was supposed to filter out harmful gases, but someone had reversed the settings. Instead of filtering, it was pumping in carbon dioxide. Any other species would have collapsed within minutes, but humans had evolved on a planet where oxygen levels changed constantly. Noticed the difference, removed the suit, and walked to class breathing the station's regular air. The station's air was not perfect for humans. It was thin and cold, but's body adjusted within hours. Her heart beat faster. Her lungs worked harder. She did not complain. Watched from across the classroom, his golden feathers ruffled with frustration. Nothing was working. "She is not normal," he told his friends. "No species should be able to survive what we have done." "Maybe the rumors about humans are true," one friend said nervously. Maybe they really are monsters." "She is not a monster," snapped. "She is just a dirty animal from a dirty planet, and I will prove it." A week later, a new human arrived at the academy. His name was. He was 15 years old, 2 years younger than, and he was the son of a human diplomat. Unlike, had not been trained for alien contact. He was bright and eager and completely unprepared for what waited for him. Watched him during the orientation. He smiled at everyone. He tried to shake hands with not knowing that touching their crystal skin was considered rude. He asked about their family, not knowing that did not have families in the human sense. Every mistake made his group laugh louder. That night found sitting alone in the gardens. The gardens were one of the few beautiful places in the lower sectors, filled with plants from 100 different worlds. Was staring at a flower that glowed softly in the darkness. "You are the other human," he said when he saw. "Park, right? I read about you before I came. First human exchange student in 400 years. "That is me," sat down beside him. "How are you finding the academy?" Smile faded. "It is harder than I thought. Everyone looks at me like I am going to attack them, and some students—" He stopped. "You know him." "I know him," picked one of the glowing flowers and studied it. "He will come for you, probably soon." "What should I do?" "Keep your head down, do not respond to insults, and if things get bad, find me." Looked at her with hope. "You will help me. We humans have to stick together." The next week brought new challenges. Had started a rumor that humans carried diseases that could spread to other species. Suddenly, no one would sit near or in class. No one would partner with them for projects. The dining hall seats around them were always empty. Was the only one who stayed loyal. "I do not believe the rumors," she told. "Humans are strange, but you are not disease carriers." "Thank you. Besides," they added, "I have watched enough human films to know that you are the heroes, not the villains." Laughed. It was the first time she had laughed in weeks. But things were getting worse for. Unlike, he could not hide his emotions. The constant isolation was breaking him. He stopped smiling. He stopped trying to make friends. He spent most of his free time alone in his room. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a survival theory class, taught by an old warrior named Instructor. Had fought in wars that happened before his grandfather was born. He had scars on his shell and a missing leg that had been replaced with metal. He was the only teacher who seemed genuinely interested in humans. "Today," announced, "we will discuss apex predators. Each of you will describe the most dangerous predator from your—" One by one, students stood and described their planet's deadliest creatures. The talked about crystal serpents that could shatter mountains. The described sky hunters with wingspans of 30 meters. The spoke of acid worms that dissolved everything they touched. Then it was turn. She stood calmly and faced the class, was smirking in the back row, waiting for her to embarrass herself. "The most dangerous predator on Earth," said, "is the human." The class went silent. "Humans are persistence predators," she continued. "We do not have claws or fangs or venom. We do not have thick shells or sharp spines, but we have something else. We have endurance." Instructor leaned forward. "Explain." "When humans hunt, we do not catch our prey immediately. We follow it. We chase it for hours, for days. The prey runs faster than us, but it cannot run forever. Eventually, it collapses from exhaustion, and we are still walking." "That is terrifying," a student whispered. "We also have something called adrenaline," said. "It is a chemical in our blood. When we are in danger, our bodies release it. Suddenly, we become stronger, faster. We can ignore pain. We can lift heavy objects. We can fight even when we are badly injured." "Impossible," said from the back. "You are exaggerating." Looked at him. "There are documented cases of human mothers lifting vehicles to save their children, vehicles that weigh thousands of kilograms." "Lies." Instructor raised one claw. I have seen the classified military assessments on humans. She is not lying. The class stared at with new eyes. Some looked scared, others looked fascinated, looked furious. After class, cornered in a corridor, was walking nearby when she heard the commotion. "You think you are special," was saying. He had pressed against a wall, two of his friends blocking any escape. "You think that little speech makes you scary." "I did not give the speech," said. His voice was shaking. "But you are human, and I am tired of your species thinking you belong here." Appeared at the end of the corridor, let him go. Turned, his golden feathers puffed up in anger. "Or what? You will chase me until I collapse." No, walked closer. Her footsteps echoed in the empty corridor. "I am asking nicely." Stepped toward her. His friends moved to surround her. "Touch me, and my family will have your entire species sanctioned. We will cut off all trade. We will close all embassies. Your little planet will be isolated forever." Said nothing. She walked past as if he was not there. She took by the arm, and she led him away without looking back. Stood frozen in shock. No one had ever ignored him like that. No one had ever treated him as if he was not worth a response. That night gathered his inner circle. "Tomorrow," he said, his voice cold with rage, "we break her." The Academy's combat training arena was a massive circular room built from reinforced metal. Every year, students were required to pass a practical assessment here. The assessment was supposed to be a simple sparring exercise, a way to test physical skills without serious injury. Safety shields would stop any attack before it caused real harm. At least, that was how it was supposed to work. Arrived at the arena early, wearing the standard training uniform. Had come to watch, floating nervously near the spectator area. Sat beside her, still looking tired from the constant harassment. The arena was already filling with students. Word had spread that something interesting might happen today. Everyone wanted to see the human fight. Instructor stood at the center of the arena, his metal leg clicking against the floor. "Today's assessment will be one-on-one combat," he announced. "Pairings are random. The system will select your opponent." Watched the large screen above the arena as names appeared in pairs. She waited for her name. When it appeared, she felt the room go quiet. YUNA Park, human, versus THREKIRONCLAWKRIX. Was not a normal student. He was almost 3 meters tall, with a shell as thick as armor and claws that could cut through steel. He was known for hurting other students during sparring matches. The teachers called them accidents. Everyone knew better. Looked across the arena at, he was smiling. "The system made a mistake," whispered urgently. "You cannot fight, he is twice your size, he will crush you." "The system did not make a mistake," said calmly. "Someone paid for this pairing." Then refused to fight, tell instructor. But was already walking toward the arena floor. She stepped past the safety barrier and took her position in the center of the ring. Emerged from the opposite side. He was massive, his shadow covered completely. His claws clicked together with a sound like knives sharpening. "Little human," said, his voice was deep and slow. "I will try not to hurt you too badly, but accidents happen." Did not respond. She simply stood there, relaxed, her arms at her sides. Instructor raised his claw. "Begin." Charged. He moved with surprising speed for his size. The floor shook under his weight. His claws swept toward in a strike that could have cut her in half. She was not there. Moved at the last possible moment, stepping to the side with a smoothness that seemed almost lazy. Claws cut through empty air. The crowd gasped. Spun around and attacked again. This time he used both claws, sweeping from 2 directions at once. There was nowhere to dodge. Dropped to the ground and rolled between his legs. She was back on her feet before could turn. "Stand still," growled. "No thank you." Roared and launched a series of attacks. Each one was powerful enough to kill. Each one missed, moved like water flowing around every strike, never wasting energy, never showing fear. The crowd was completely silent now, even had stopped smiling. Instructor watched with his ancient eyes. He had seen many fighters in his long life. He had never seen anything like this. After 2 minutes of failed attacks, was breathing heavily. His species was built for short bursts of power, not extended combat, had not even started sweating. "My turn," she said. She moved forward, swung his claw, but she was already inside his reach. She grabbed his arm and twisted. The movement was precise, targeting the soft joint between his shell plates. Screamed, pulled him off balance and swept his legs. The massive crashed to the floor with a sound like thunder. Before he could recover, was on top of him, one arm locked in a position that bent the wrong way. "Yield," she said calmly. Struggled. The more he moved, the more the lock tightened. Pain shot through his arm. "I said yield." "I yield," gasped. "I yield." Released him immediately. She stood up and offered him her hand. After a moment of shock, took it. She helped him to his feet. "Good match," she said, bowing respectfully. The arena exploded into noise. Some students were cheering, others were arguing, most were simply staring in disbelief. Pushed through the crowd and jumped into the arena. His golden feathers were standing up in rage. "This is impossible. She cheated. She must have cheated." "I used no weapons," said. "I followed all the rules." You do not belong here. You do not deserve to be here." Instructor stepped forward. "The match is over. Leave the arena, student." But was beyond reason. Months of frustration had built up inside him. He had tried everything to break, and nothing had worked. Now she had defeated his best fighter in front of the entire school. "You think you are better than me?" screamed. He reached for his waist and pulled out a blade. It was a ceremonial weapon that all nobles carried, passed down through generations. The blade was not meant for combat, but it was sharp enough to kill. "No," someone shouted. Lunged at. Time seemed to slow down. Watched the blade come toward her. She saw the angle. She saw the speed. She saw exactly where expected it to land. She moved. One hand caught his wrist. The other pressed against his elbow. She twisted, and the blade clattered to the floor. In the same motion, she pulled forward and pushed him down, pinning him to the ground with one arm bent behind his back. The whole thing took less than a second. The arena was dead silent. Leaned close to his ear. Her voice was soft, almost gentle. "On Earth, when someone draws a weapon, they have accepted that they might die. Is that what you are accepting?" Whimpered. "Answer me." "No," whispered. "No, I do not want to die." Released him. She stepped back, leaving lying on the floor, shaking. His ceremonial blade lay beside him, untouched. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Instructor walked forward. His metal leg clicked loudly in the silence. "Class is dismissed," he said. His translator clicked as he spoke. "Everyone leave the arena, except you, human." The students filed out quickly, whispering to each other, and stayed near the door, watching with worried expressions. Was helped up by his friends. His wrist was bruised and his pride was destroyed. He did not look at as he left. When the arena was empty, turned to. "That was interesting," he said. "I defended myself." "Yes, but you could have hurt him badly. You chose not to." Nodded. Studied her with his compound eyes. "I have seen combat footage from your planet, your military assessments. I know what humans are capable of." "Then you know I held back." Significantly, moved closer. "Why?" Looked at the door where had left. "Because breaking him would not teach him anything, and killing him would only prove that I am the monster he thinks I am." Made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You are wise for your age, human. Or perhaps all humans are wise. I am starting to think we have underestimated your species." "Most people do." "I will not make that mistake again. picked up ceremonial blade and examined it. "This will cause problems. The family is powerful. They will not accept this defeat quietly." "I know. What will you do?" Smiled. It was the same calm smile she had worn since the first day. "I will do what humans always do," she said. "I will survive." 2 days after the arena incident, received a message on her personal device. She was required to appear before the Academy Judicial Council. Formal charges had been filed against her. The charges included assault, disruption of Academy activities, and threatening the life of a noble. If found guilty, she would be expelled immediately. There was also talk of criminal prosecution under galactic law. Was horrified when she heard, "This is not fair, attacked you, you only defended yourself." "Fairness has nothing to do with it," said. She was packing documents into a small bag. "The family has power, I do not." "But everyone saw what happened. There are witnesses." "Witnesses can be pressured. Evidence can disappear. This is how it works everywhere, even on Earth." Came to visit that evening. He looked better than he had in weeks. Something about watching defeat had given him courage. "What can I do to help?" he asked. "You can testify at the hearing. Tell them what has done to you." Nodded without hesitation. "I will." The night before the hearing, instructor called to his private quarters. His room was filled with weapons from dozens of worlds, trophies from his long career as a warrior. Some were beautiful, some were terrifying. "Sit," said. He gestured to a chair made of some unknown material. Sat. Activated a screen on his wall. Files appeared, filled with images and text that had never seen before. "These are classified military assessments on humanity," explained. "They are kept hidden from the general galactic population. Only high-ranking officials and military commanders have access." Leaned forward. The files contained photographs of human soldiers, charts showing physical capabilities, and reports from battles that had never been made public. "According to these files," continued, "humans are not simply, you are Category 9 apex predators. Your species has survived 5 mass extinction events. You have domesticated apex predators from other worlds. You achieved interstellar travel faster than any species in recorded history." "I did not know about these files." "No one does, that is the point." Turned to face her. "I have studied many species in my life. I have never seen one like yours. Your bodies are inefficient, you are short. You should not be dangerous. And yet, in the arena, you defeated in under 3 minutes. You disarmed in under 1 second, and you did it while holding back." Compound eyes studied her carefully. "I wanted to know if you were exceptional among your kind or typical." "What did you decide?" "I think you are slightly above average, which means the average human is terrifying." Allowed herself a small smile. "Tomorrow you will face the Judicial Council," said. "The family has sent their most powerful representative. They expect to destroy you." "I know. Do you have a plan?" "I always have a plan." The next morning, the judicial chamber was packed with observers. Word of the hearing had spread across the station. Everyone wanted to see what would happen to the human girl who had humiliated a noble family. The chamber was circular, with a raised platform for the judges and lower seats for the accused and their accusers. The walls were decorated with symbols of justice from 100 different worlds. Took her place at the accused position. She wore her standard uniform, clean and neat. Her face showed no emotion. Across from her sat the family representative. His name was Lord's father. He was older than his son, with darker feathers and cold, intelligent eyes. Behind him sat, looking smaller than usual. The Chancellor of the Academy presided over the hearing. He was the same elderly who had given the welcome speech on its first day. His name was Elder, and he was known for being fair. "This hearing will come to order," Elder announced. "We are here to address charges filed against Park of Earth. The charges are assault, disruption, and threatening the life of a noble. Lord, you may present your case." Lord stood. His voice was smooth and confident. "Thank you, Elder. The facts of this case are simple. A dangerous individual attacked my son without provocation. She used forbidden combat techniques. She held a weapon to his throat and threatened to kill him." "I held no weapon," said calmly. "You will have your turn to speak, human," Lord continued. "My son's only crime was trying to maintain order in this academy. He expressed legitimate concerns about allowing primitive species to mix with civilized students. For this, he was attacked." Lord called witnesses. Each one told a version of events that painted as a victim and as an aggressor. Each one claimed they had not seen draw his blade first. The lies were so smooth that almost admired them. When it was her turn to speak, stood slowly. She looked at Elder with steady eyes. "I would like to present evidence," she said. Lord scoffed. What evidence could a human have? Pulled a data chip from her pocket. "This chip contains security footage from the academy. I have collected recordings of every incident that has occurred since my arrival." The chamber went quiet. "Every incident?" Elder asked. "Every incident." Inserted the chip into the display system. "The poisoned food, the sabotaged environmental suit, the harassment of myself and the bribery of officials to arrange the combat pairing with, and of course, the attack in the arena where drew a ceremonial blade and tried to kill me." The screens lit up with footage. Video after video played, showing every cruel thing and his friends had done. The quality was perfect. The timestamps were. There was no way to claim the footage was fake. Lord's face went pale. "Where did you get this?" "The academy has security cameras everywhere. Most students forget they exist. I did not forget." The footage continued. It showed bribing a technician to arrange the combat pairing. It showed his friends laughing as they poisoned food. It showed the moment in the arena when pulled his blade, clearly attacking first. Elder watched in silence. His blue form rippled with what might have been anger. When the footage ended, spoke again. "On Earth, we have laws against what your son did. We call it harassment, assault, attempted murder. I defended myself with less force than your own galactic laws would permit. If my restraint is evidence of barbarism, then I wonder what your son's actions are evidence of." Lord stood up sharply. "This footage should be stricken from the record. It was obtained illegally." "It was obtained from public security systems," said. "Systems that the Academy controls. If you have a problem with the footage, your complaint is with the Academy, not with me." Elder raised a tentacle for silence. "Lord, the footage is admissible. Please sit down." Lord remained standing. "This is an outrage. My family has supported this academy for generations. We will not be treated this way." "Then perhaps your family should have raised your son with better values." Every eye in the chamber turned to see who had spoken. It was. He had stood up from the observer section, his young face determined. I am also human, and I can testify to everything shown in that footage. Has made my life miserable since I arrived. He has done the same too. He has done the same to every student who comes from a world he considers beneath him." Other students began to stand, from a lower classification world, who had been mocked for her size, who had been threatened by. One by one they added their voices. Lord looked around the chamber with growing panic. This was not how things were supposed to go. Elder spoke with quiet authority. "This hearing is suspended pending a full investigation into institutional failures at this academy. All charges against Park are dismissed. Will face review for his actions. And Lord," the Chancellor's eyes were hard, "your family's donations do not buy immunity from justice. Not anymore." Lord had no response. For the first time in his life, his money and power meant nothing. Walked out of the chamber with her head held high. Outside was waiting, her eye stalks wiggling with joy. You did it, said. You actually did it. Smiled, we did it, all of us. 1 month passed after the hearing, and the Galactic Unity Academy was no longer the same place it had been before. The investigation had moved quickly. Security footage and testimony from dozens of students revealed a pattern of abuse that went back years, was expelled within a week. 3 teachers were removed for accepting bribes. 2 administrators lost their positions for ignoring complaints from lower classification students. Lord tried to use his political influence to reverse the decisions. He contacted allies in the Galactic Council. He threatened to withdraw funding from the Academy. He even tried to have deported from the station. None of it worked. The footage from the arena had spread across the galactic network. Everyone had seen draw his blade first. Everyone had seen disarm him without causing serious injury. The story of the human girl who defeated a noble bully with patience and skill had captured the imagination of millions. Lord found that his calls were no longer being returned. His allies suddenly had other priorities. His reputation, once unshakable, had been damaged beyond repair. On the station, life continued. Woke early every morning as she always had. She exercised, ate breakfast, and attended her classes. The other students no longer avoided her. Instead, they watched her with a mixture of respect and curiosity. Some even tried to talk to her. "Excuse me," a young said one day. Her crystal skin was pale blue, a sign of her low social status. "I wanted to thank you." "For what?" "For showing everyone that they cannot treat us like we are nothing. I came from a small colony. My family has no power. Students have bullied me since I arrived. But after what you did," the paused, "things are different now." Smiled, "Things are different because you spoke up at the hearing. You and the others, that took courage. I would never have done it without you." "Yes, you would have. You just needed someone to go first." The left with a small bow, her crystal features glowing softly, was doing better than ever. The harassment had stopped completely, and he had found a new purpose. He started a cultural exchange club where interested students could learn about human customs and traditions. The first meeting had only 3 members. Was one of them, eager as always to learn more about Earth. A curious named was the second. The third was a quiet who refused to give her name. By the second month, the club had 20 members. By the third month, it had over 50. Taught them about human holidays. He explained the concept of birthdays, which confused species that did not celebrate individual achievements. He described Earth weather, which terrified students who had never experienced rain. He showed them human music, which made wobble with delight and made antennae twitch in confusion. "Humans are strange," said after listening to a classical symphony, "but interesting." "Thank you," said, "I think." Instructor continued to train. He had offered her advanced combat lessons, separate from the regular curriculum. She accepted, curious to learn techniques from other worlds. One day, after a particularly intense session, sat down heavily. His metal leg made a grinding sound as it adjusted. "You know," he said, "the Galactic Council has been quietly recruiting humans for specialized roles. Security, diplomacy, exploration of dangerous worlds." Wiped sweat from her forehead. "I have heard rumors." "They are not rumors. The Council has realized that humans have capabilities no other species can match. Your endurance, your adaptability, your ability to think creatively under pressure." Paused. "I could recommend you for one of these positions. After you graduate, of course." "What kind of position?" "Whatever you want. With your skills and your reputation, you could go anywhere, do anything." Thought about it. She imagined herself traveling to distant stars, facing challenges that would break other species. It was tempting. "Thank you," she said finally, "but I want to finish my education first. There is still a lot I want to learn." Made his clicking sound that meant approval. "Wise choice. The universe will wait for you, Park. That evening was walking through the academy gardens when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned to find approaching slowly. It was a young female with silver feathers and nervous eyes. "I am sorry to bother you," they said. "My name is I was one of friends." Studied her. She remembered seeing this in the background during some of the incidents, always watching, never participating. "I remember you." Looked at the ground. I wanted to apologize, not for he made his own choices, but for myself, for staying silent when I knew what he was doing was wrong. "Why did you stay silent?" "I was scared. His family was powerful. Speaking against him would have ruined me." Feathers drooped. "That is not an excuse, I know that now." Was quiet for a moment. On Earth, she had seen this same pattern many times. People who knew something was wrong but did nothing because it was safer to stay quiet. She had been one of those people once, long ago. "What made you come to me now?" she asked. "The hearing. When you presented that evidence, when the other students stood up, I realized that silence is not safety. Silence is just another kind of cruelty." Considered this. Then she nodded slowly. "Thank you for apologizing, I accept." Looked up with surprise, just like that. Holding on to anger does not help anyone. You made a mistake. You recognized it. You are trying to do better, smiled. On Earth, we call that growth. Feathers lifted slightly. "I want to do better. I want to help make this academy a better place." Then help, joins Cultural Exchange Club. Speak up when you see something wrong. That is how change happens. One person at a time. They talked for a while longer as the artificial stars of the station twinkled above them. When finally left, she walked a little taller than before. Later that night, returned to her dormitory room. Was watching another human film, something about a group of people fighting aliens. The irony was not lost on. She sat down at her desk and found a message waiting on her device. It was from the Human Exchange Program, the organization that had arranged her placement at the academy. The message was simple. More human students were being approved for exchange programs across the galaxy. 3 new academies had specifically requested human applicants, and Galactic Unity Academy had asked for priority placement. They wanted more humans. After everything that had happened, they wanted more. Read the message twice, then she laughed. Paused her film. "What is funny?" "Just humanity being humanity." "I do not understand." Looked out the window at the endless stars. Somewhere out there, human ships were exploring new worlds. Human scientists were making discoveries. Human children were growing up dreaming of the galaxy. And soon more of them would come here. They would face the same challenges had faced. They would be underestimated, mocked, and threatened. But they would survive. They would adapt. They would prove themselves just as humans always had. Because that was what humans did. That was what humans had always done. His voice interrupted her thoughts. "Are you okay?" Turned back to her friend. "I am fine, better than fine." The message was good news. Very good news. Sat down beside. More humans are coming to this academy and others. Stalks wiggled with excitement. "That is wonderful. Do you think they will be ready, the other schools?" Thought about all the alien students who had never met a human. All the teachers who only knew humans from fear reports. All the powerful families who thought they could bully anyone weaker than themselves. "Probably not," she said, "but they will learn. Humans are very good teachers." She paused, looking out at the stars one more time. "Especially when we are underestimated."